All right, so it took a second, and I needed to get everybody brought up to speed on joining or not. So let's go ahead and watch the intro video and see what we're playing. All right, everybody, we're back on our fourth outing. This is going to be the Cartel, and we're going to be playing original copy. We previously went through and picked up Ilfa as an ally, so we're going to be required to use her in this mission. But we're going to have a little bit of complication as far as the rivals. We have Jackal as a requirement. We just beat her, so it's like she's running away and trying to maybe lick her wounds and gather some extra help from the Cartel and from Juan. And the mission that the Kingdom probably already set them to work on is getting this Dolores character that would fit in with Jackal's cloning project and what she does with the Kingdom. So that could be setting up what our story is all about and give us a reason to have Dolores initially as a rival. When she gets beaten, she's going to be coming in and being an ally of ours if we beat her. That'll be pretty cool, and that'll mean we'll have 3 allies at the time. As long as you start with only 1 per fighter, whatever happens during the fight, that'll be okay. And from that point on, we're going to be able to just worry about the clones. And there's a lot of clones going on. So let's take a look at what the stage setup will look like. As always, we get our info from the setup card. And if you wanted to look and see just a general overview, that's what the overview cards are for. With this is given a 4 out of 5 complexity. We have blocked spaces. We have these clone tanks, and they're going to do different things based on the objectives. And we have to keep track of all of it. And we also have computer terminals and this VANDAL SERUM to keep track of. So that's kind of why it's so complex. We're going to be doing a lot of running around and defeating extra minions and doing whatever we can to take power off of objectives and not let too many clones get into place, because if there are too many clones running, then that will mean Jackal has in some way completed or perfected her system, and she can just keep pumping out more and more creatures. So that's what we're going to be looking at right now, and we'll go to the next card and see what else we've got. The second side of the stage rules and the VANDAL SERUM sets up how we're going to use these clones. And the VANDAL SERUM basically means that instead of going to a discard pile, you're going to go into a separate pool and you'll restart the cloning. As you activate the different objectives, they're going to continue to try to create progress on the cloning system, and eventually you pop out a clone. The pool or regular Cartel cards need to be kept separate from this, and that's why this mechanic functions. You get to pick whatever it is that you want, whatever fits your theme, whatever feels normal for you. In this particular context, it might make more sense to use a character from the Davenport Manor. It might make more sense to use someone from the Kingdom because the Jackal is still there and it's her cloning program that is running the original copy stage. You can kind of figure it out for yourself, whatever you want it to be. I think for us, it's going to be best to have them be marionette dolls, since they're so closely tied to Jackal's character and her story. You can do things however you want. You can use any combination of characters that you would prefer. I like to use the ones that have the 5 colors, just because it's easier to keep track of those, and then I don't have to take the little silicone the base rings off of them. Just makes my life a little bit easier. So for you, whatever fits your theme, if you want to play this mission, go ahead and do it that way. I'm sure you'll have a blast either way. There is one last thing you might want to think about in the stage setup, and that is, what are you going to do about those block spots? It can be confusing. It's just painted on the boards, and for me, I can use my 3D printer, as you can probably hear in the background, to create these vats. I picked them up off Thingiverse. You can get them any way you want on my normal Kickstarter channel about once a month, or usually more. There is sci-fi scatter terrain for sale that people are selling the STL files. You can get them from a million different places and whatever theme or size or whatever you want. The tile size is about 1 inch or 25 millimeters, 2.5 centimeters. You can get something that will fit that scale however you like. Like I said, these are available on Thingiverse. I'm printing them off, and it's not going to be ready in time for this game, but I'll use pennies. Here in the US, we have copper pennies. They show up well against the map. They're heavy enough to not get moved around too much, and it'll be fine to be a blocked space so that we can't go into them. And obviously, they're cheap. One last stage condition that we need to talk about is the computer terminals. And if we had someone like Lita as one of our allies, or even just as a fighter, this would be a killer opportunity for them because of the interact. The computer terminals have an interaction with the VANDAL serum. Whenever the VANDAL serums are removed, then the minion gets defeated and it goes back to the clone supply. So that being the case, if you go and stand on one of the objective spaces, which are open spaces to stand on, that's where the computer terminal is located, and you can use the interact to flip the copy of the objective, and that'll return one copy of VANDAL serum to the serum supply. So as the clones are moving around the board, wherever they end up being, you can like do a remote shutdown on them from the computer terminal. This is also where the power comes from that will cause the clones to be built. So you get some, you lose some, and you just do the best you can to try to hit as many things as possible. Hopefully, if we can get Clint somewhere equidistant to all of the various clones, then he can fire away at them and maybe take them out as they pop up and do a bit of whack-a-mole, and we'll see if Wildfire can then defeat Juan. And he's going to be running all around the board, attacking us for lots of damage with that carbine. So we'll just have to think about what we can do. Ilfa can jump all the way across the board and hit anyone. Maybe that'll be good against some of the clones as well. We'll do what we can, and do our best to have fun too. That's the main thing of the game, right?
All right. So I hope that was informative as to what all we're doing here. And you can see my famous pennies all along the boards in that area. We're going to go ahead and get started. What is our strategy going to be? Well, Juan moves around a lot. So I think I kind of need to avoid him as much as possible. What I really need to go for is to try to take out Dolores and Jackal as quickly as I can, just because they're more problematic than anything else. They hit more, they have more functions going on, and Jackal, she's going to push me all around the board. It's just going to be annoying, and I don't really want to deal with that. And Dolores, she hits for 4. It's a pretty hard hitter, so I think that's just what I'm going to work with. If I get too close to Juan, he's going to unload, and it's going to do a lot of damage. Wildfire can't take a lot of damage. Those are just the things that we're going to start thinking about for now. So that being the case, I think the best move is with Clint first. Let's go ahead and go straight into a threat phase. Tyrone will come in here, and he gets taken a grapple. And I forgot to give Hanzo his. He gets 2. She gets 2 kick and a grapple. And Right now, Dolores does not have anything for her to worry about. So, what can we do in this situation? I think our best bet, get close to Tyrone at first. So, I might as well pick up some loot while I'm on that transit. We get ourselves some sneakers. If I get hip toss, then maybe that'll come in handy. Oh, I forgot. I need to draw that hand. So first 4 cards of each. What are we going to do? Well, we have some tactics. We have one tactic in place right now, and that is for Steely Gaze. This would allow us to do a considerable amount of more damage. So we'll place that in play. And let's remove as many defense tokens as possible from Tyrone before we attack him with Clint. And we'll do that with Ilfa. She is going to she's going to jump in the air, and then she's going to pounce. So she'll drop in right there. She's going to do an attack, and she gains the defense tokens used to block her. One is a grapple and one is a punch, so she's going to gain the grapple, and then she'll deal 1 punch damage. So that's a little bit helpful. And then we've moved, we played a card. We'll use our action to shoot Tyrone. So that's going to be 2 here. And that's going to give us some abilities to use things. So we get, let's take a punch, just because, for no other reason other than it's the top one. It's going to do 2 damage. It's going to get rid of this kick. So he's got a total of 2 damage on him. There is nothing else to do but put that token. And then we have to start worrying about our threat phase. We'll begin. She doesn't really do much. So she's going to move 3 up to the nearest fighter. So first is 1, 2, 3. Okay. She's not going to do anything else. But she is a ranged fighter. She can swing that axe apparently and hurt some people. I kind of guess each one of these hexes is around 3 feet in width. And if you have a long axe reach, then maybe you can do the arc and then 1 or 2 beyond it. You know, it's different ways to think about the space. Then we're going to go to Tyrone. He will advance 3 towards the nearest fighter and attack. He attacks for 3. If the enemy did not attack, which he will, so he's going to attack Ilfa. Hopefully she can block one of these. Yeah, she blocks the 1. And she's going to take 2. She has very little health, so we don't want to lose her, but she's not necessary to win this this match. If we were to take out Dolores, she'll switch to being an ally, so we can almost sacrifice Ilfa. Different ways to think about things. We need to draw a card now that the react phase is over. And we go to Wildfire. Wildfire is going to draw a card of her own. Human Shields tactic. So Juan will be able to use minions to mitigate damage. One thing to notice on Juan here, I'm using the shotgun shells instead of power. They're easier to count. It's easier to tell if it's loaded or unloaded because that's loaded, that's unloaded. So if I had just stacks of power, it's harder to see from your perspective. If I played the whole game in this perspective, then maybe you could see like the counts, but it's just harder to see the rest of the game and everything. So, you know, for your sake,
we're just going to keep it like this, and I'm using the shotgun shells instead of power. If you used Juan as a fighter from the Redemption Pack, that's where those shotgun shells come from, and you'd have that all the time. I hope that's enough explanation. Okay, so Human Shields goes in. I need to make decisions with Wildfire. I think he can only move 3 spaces. So if I had started with the 2 of them like that, I'd be in a more advantageous position right now. I'm not. So let's just look at what she has in her hand, and then we'll decide who to give Hanzo's power to. The only tactic I have right now is this Benassi card. I can gain additional damage if I don't play this card right now. So let's try that. We'll go up over here. We'll play for our, that's our move step. We'll play our card step and play the Muzanisi Clutch. And we're going to exhaust Steely Gaze. This is going to add 2 and +1 direct damage. There are no spirit cards in play, so that's 3. We got a total of 5. Okay, so this is going to be a very big attack. Hopefully we'll get some defense along with it. Alright, so it did 5, and we got 2 defense and 1 exploding, so we have to play that to see if we get another defense. We do. So we get 3 grapple defense, which is a nice thing to have. When Juan does a lot of general damage, it's nice to have as many of those as we can. That is going to be enough to take out Mr. Tyrone from the board. We'll set the discards over here. This is my, I don't know if you can see, this is my clone area here, and they got the Vandal cards ready to go. So it's a little off camera, but you can kind of see what's going to go on. I'll try to keep it so you can see what's going on. You can see that the colors are there, and I've got my clone minions ready to go here, which is going to come up in just a second. After I get myself a set of binoculars, I can choose a fighter to gain a defense token of their choice from each enemy. That's nice to have. It's better when there's a lot of enemies on the board. But especially with someone like Clint, it's very useful. Okay, so that plays that discard. So there's nothing else I can really do from here. If I wanted to move, I could, but I think right now it's just better to get 2 random defense die. That's going to be a grapple and a punch. Very handy. And that is the end of that action. I'll exhaust Hanzo. 1, 2, 3. And I'll give a power to Wildfire, since she makes very good use out of those on her charge side, and it's a little more difficult to get. Then Jackal has to do something. Moves the furthest fighter up to 3 spaces towards the nearest enemy. So the furthest fighter is Wildfire. The nearest enemy is 2, 3. The Loris, and that's all we can do. We're going to gain ourselves a card. All right, and that will move us into the boss's phase. He is not engaged. Juan gains 2 random defense tokens and moves up to 3 spaces. He's going to gain a grapple and a kick.
Okay. 36 damage to get rid of him. Human shields is going to give him more in a second. We'll see where that all takes us. Otherwise, 1, he gains 2 random defense tokens, moves up to 3 spaces to be within 4 spaces of the nearest fighter. 1, 2, 3. He is within 4 spaces of the nearest fighter, which is Wildfire. And his next activate is going to be to unload on the flintlock carbine. And 4 general damage is going to come off of our grapple tokens here. So we are at 5 power. Not quite enough to flip just yet, but getting darn close to that range. That flips token, and then 1 gains random defense token and an additional random for each figure within 3 spaces of him. 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 1, 2, 3. That is not 1. This counts as a figure, so he's going to gain 3 for each figure. Yeah, he's going to gain 3 random defense tokens. Find out what those are. He gets 3 punch tokens. Okay, so that part's done. Then we go to the stage turn. For each active objective, there are currently no active objectives, so we don't have to worry about that. We flip any inactive objectives in a space with an enemy. There are none in a space with an enemy. Okay, we don't have to worry about that just yet. Draw a card. With accelerated mutation, place 1 power on each enemy card in the cloning area that has a copy of Vandal Serum. There are none at the current time, so we have to draw another stage card. So that'll go into a discard. Devoted subjects. The boss gains 1 random for each clone in play. We have none if there are no clones in play. Plus 1 power on each clone with Vandal Serum attached. We have none with Vandal Serum attached. Vandal Serum has not been attached to anything, so we're good there. There are no, there's nothing active just yet. Let's make sure we have all of our stuff. Make sure I've put everything. Yeah, nothing starts with Vandal Serum on it, so we're not going to worry about that just yet. So, alright. What are we doing? We're going to decide who's going to go next. I think it's best to use Clint. We got a damage that's going to go on Steely Gaze. Let's draw a Cartel card. Getaway. Remove 1 from the map and put him in the empty space nearest the entry space that is furthest from any fighter. I think that is actually here. Then he's going to unload. There's no fighter within range, so his unload does not do anything. He doesn't just fire off the shotgun into nothing. He just flat does nothing. So we'll look at the cards. We got 4, which means we drew. Got a bunch of know your enemies. Got some get backs and cheap shots. There's not a lot to discard. Okay, if I discard right now, I can discard 3 Defense tokens of your choice from each enemy in play. And I can gain them. So I think that'll get me pretty close to getting rid of these rivals. So I'm going to go ahead and know your enemy now. I can gain these 3. And I'll gain these 3. Why not? All right. Then I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. She's within 1, 2, 3. She's within range. I'm going to attack using my regular and Steely Gaze. So I'll discard to use Steely Gaze, which is going to be an attack for 4 plus 1. 1 is going to be direct, so let's just throw that on there so I don't forget it. And we'll figure it out from there. That's our move step. That's our action step. So all that's done. Okay, we're going to gain 2. I'll take grapples because those look low. And I'm going to do 3 damage. She is now at 8. I can do some moves with Ilfa. She is going to jump up and attack. She's going to attack Jackal for 2. Just to start doing some damage on Jackal. I actually want her, 1, 2, 3. I want her to be on this space in order to do that. I put a damage back onto Steely Gaze as part of that. Then on the react phase, she's going to attack if able. She is not. She'll deal 3 punch damage to the nearest fighter within 3 spaces, which is Clint. 3 punch damage is going to turn into 3 power. That's nice. And then she's going to advance towards Clint, which is fine. That's not the end of the world. I'm okay with that. Then we draw a card. Then we go back to Wildfire. Okay, she's going to draw. And we get a Tyrone, purple this time. How do we feel purple looks on him? We're going to say it looks pretty good. It's a healthy choice. That's a 1. A 1. And a 1. Alright, so he's got all those good times coming to him. And alright, so Hanzo is going to give Wildfire a power, which is going to allow her to flip. She must flip more than just allow. And he's going to run up and hit Dolores for 4. So that becomes 8. So Dolores is getting pretty close to becoming an ally for us, which will be nice. It's nice to have friends, you know, even if they are the more monstrous variety. Okay. So that's 8 damage done to her. She's down to 4. I can do extra stuff with spirit cards once I attack. So I'm going to go ahead and move her. The only real place to be is 1, 2, 3. Okay. And that's going to allow her to attack for 3. Sorry. It allowed me to attack with this I want to dive. And let me do kick damage. Do I care? It's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the I want to attack. It's only going to be for 2. I tried to do the mental gymnastics to figure out how to get that to boost. It's just not going to happen. The attack is going to be against Dolores. So it is 2 plus a crit. Let's get another crit. Come on, another crit. No, but it's 3. She's down to 1 left. So that is pretty important for us. Okay, and then she still has this regular attack thing to do, and it'll allow me to play a spirit card. I have Benesi in my hand. 1 damage is not enough to really affect an outcome here if I were to waste it basically on Dolores. So where I should put it is on Tyrone. So I'm going to go ahead and do a full 3 attack on Tyrone. I'm going to get 3 kick defense tokens. I get to play a spirit card. He loses 1 kick. And that, honestly, if I had done that against her, she'd be dead now, but whatever. I get to play Benesi. And that's it for right now. For what I can do, I think. So, react phase, we have... she's going to move the furthest fighter up to 3 spaces towards the nearest enemy. We're all near enemies because we're all next to Dolores right now, so not really a problem. And then Tyrone, he's going to attack the nearest fighter for 3. That's punch, kick, 2 power, 1 damage. Okay, so that's that. And put this away. We draw a card. Have that for later. Then we have 1. He's not engaged. He'll gain 2 random defense tokens. Grapple and kick. Stacking up those grapples and kicks. And move up to 3 spaces to be within 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's only going to move 1 space in order to unload 4 general damage onto Wildfire. So she's going to take 2. Okay. And that Benesi is going to help us heal, so we don't have to worry too much from those. But it is only 1 versus all the damage that's coming in, so stuff to think about. Human shields. He's going to gain 1. And then for each figure within 3 spaces, there's no figures within 3 spaces, so he's only going to gain the 1. His kick token. Then stage rules. We have no active objectives right now. Oh, no. You know what we should have done? Each fighter chooses one different enemy that is nearest to an inactive objective and moves that enemy 3 spaces towards the nearest inactive objective. So we should have moved her here on the last round. Doesn't really affect anything else that we did. And then he would be, he was there, so it's 1, 2, 3. Would not affect anything that we did. She is going to flip this now, so that's how that becomes active. And now he, since he's close enough to do that, he'll do this. And now he has time to move over. So we're kind of screwed. We only had to move the 2, but they were able to move. Yeah. All right, and then for each active objective, we'll put 1 power. 1 power would have went on the green. All right, so the Vandal serums are going to go on to blue, green, and purple. Okay, so you can see those are now activated. Okay, so we started this round with 1 power, then they flipped. We'll figure out what to do from there. We need to get rid of some enemies and then flip their respective tokens back over. So that kind of sucked. Let's try not to get any more inactive ones. We need to park somebody on an objective, and it'll probably be Dolores in a second. We'll see how that goes. We have to draw a card. Place 1 power on each enemy card in the cloning area that has Vandal Sam attached. So we have 3 to put. So 1, 2, 3. When they get, I believe it's 3 or more power, they become a full clone and they come into play. So that'll be a problem. And it's going to go in the fighter with the least threat cards in their area, so we don't have to choose. It's just going to be the least. Okay, let's do something. All right, I'm going to go back to Clint here. I'm going to throw a thing on them. We're going to pick us up a Cartel card. Getaway. Remove 1 from the board and place him in the empty space nearest the entry space that is furthest from any fighter. I think that is this one now. Okay. He would then unload, and if there's no power, place 2 power on it. So this is a great opportunity for him to reload. So, yeah. He shot before, and now he's reloaded. So, good times. Good times. Okay. Now we're going to look at our cards. We'll see if there's anything that we can use much of. I could get rid of defense tokens. I think it would be more useful to use something like cheap shot. Why not? Use cheap shot. Well, he has no kick tokens, so actually, if I try to get, I'm going to get Ilfa here. I'm going to exhaust her. She'll jump to this square. She's going to hit Dolores. That flips Dolores to the good guy side. And it's going to flip Dolores to the good guy side here, which is the advantage of having those tokens. Since she was defeated here, she'll move, I think, to Clint. That makes perfect sense to me. And she would have gained 2 defense tokens when she flips over. She can move 3 spaces to attack. So she's going to move closer. 1, 2, 3. She's going to move to Jackal, who has no defense right now. So she is going to get hit for total 5 damage is going to be on her. And then Clint still has not played a card. So I need to make his decision. I have these sneakers. He has no kick defense. So I'm going to move over here next to Tyrone. Use my sneakers. And he's got 5 health. I would have to do damage on all of them. That takes up a move space. Card step. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is exhaust to get a total of 6 dice against Tyrone. 1 is going to be direct damage added to that. So we need to do at least 4 damage. And we do it. We get to choose, we get kick defense tokens on that. It's enough to get rid of Mr. Tyrone. And that card goes here. We get a loot. Pepper spray. Discard this card to discard a figure within 2 spaces of your control. So when we get close to our boss, we'll be able to get rid of human shields. You can't get rid of 1812 flintlock, even though it's really in the cards doesn't say specifically anything about not being able to get rid of it, but you can't get rid of it. So there you go. It just says that it enters play. So you'd think you could get rid of it, but you can't. So, you know, it's confusing. Why can't you? Because in the comment section of Board Game Geek, Facebook, everything else, the Saddlers have continually said you can't get rid of it. So, throwing that out there. Okay. I can move 2 because that's an effect from Get Back. Tyrone off the board. That's going to put me on top of the blue. I don't think I have enough ability to kill Jackal outright. I think I should leave that maybe to Hanzo. So with that in mind, nothing else in my area, I'm going to use the interact for my action step on the computer terminals. So this is going to flip and remove Vandal's Serum. I can return 1 copy of Vandal Serum Doesn't matter which one. So the one that's going to go, that's flipped, is the one that has the highest amount of power. And this is just over here. I think you start over. So it's discarded. Discard all damage from it. Return it to the cloning. While it's card in the cloning area, can it be damaged targeted by attacks? Cloning area. Each card the clone is unaffected by any game. Whenever a clone is in the cloning area, 3 or more power on it. Card place that at least cards that fall from play. Not the cloning area. Players lose. Okay. It doesn't really say one way or another what it should be. Let's leave it on there and say that it was part way to completion, and whenever it's injected again with more Vandal Serum, then something will happen with it. Now, the Vandal Serum has been removed with the Interact. But the Vandal Serum is still on the blue one that I'm next to, so I'd have to be somewhere else and use another Interact to try to get rid of the one that I'm on. It's a confusing mess. We'll deal with it in a second. Okay. Everything's been cleared out for Clint. He has nothing in his areas. The only thing that he can do now is draw a card. So that'll be a tactic for next time. Very nice. And now we're going to move on to our wonderful Wildfire, who gets to heal a damage, which is very nice to be able to do. She'll also have to draw a card. On alert, when a fighter moves into a space adjacent to Juan, he retreats 3 spaces from the fighter and is going to gain 2 round defense tokens. He's going to unload. Bad things are going to happen, so we need to be sure not to get adjacent to Juan. And that's going to be, unless we're going to sacrifice somebody, which we definitely could do, we're not worried about it too much. Okay, if I wanted, I could put spirit cards around. I can do an area of effect. If I put Aja-Jack into play, so there's that. If I put Aja-Jack into play, I'm going to be able to gain an extra general damage. Or a healing. So right now, we'll figure this out in a second. We are close to being able to flip, not quite on either one. In order for Hanzo to maximize the damage, he needs to give the power to Wildfire. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3, and that will get rid of Jackal from the board. So she goes away. Okay, so Jackal's now defeated. That was our card step. Was it our card step? Yes. And we didn't move. We haven't used our action yet. We are going to gain a loot. Martial Arts Magazine. Choose a fighter, gains 2 random defense tokens. I don't think anyone needs as many random defense tokens as Wildfire does right now. There's nobody else in range, so we're just going to say she's going to do... Her action step is going to be... Ooh, you know what? We can flip more on the computer terminals. So yeah, so we're just going to gain the 2 from the Martial Arts Magazine. So she read the Martial Arts Magazine, and she's like, oh, that's an interesting technique. I'll use that to help block this grapple and this punch. Right? That's how that works. That's the philosophy behind the whole deal. So clear those off. I really like the 5 for each of these because it makes the stack smaller. The problem is when you look at it, it's just one. In your brain, you got to kind of disassociate the stacking of it just being one. You got to really look and see what's going on. So her move step is going to go to purple, and her action is going to be to flip. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the purple one. Okay. So that's inactive now. All right. What do the binocs do again? There's not enough enemies to really care. I will now exhaust both of these to heal an additional damage. Because I did enough to get rid of that problem. There's nothing left in my threat area. Yay. And I will be able to draw a card. So that's cool. Now we are back to Juan. Now, if Juan moves adjacent to a fighter, on alert is not going to trigger because it's only when a fighter moves into a space adjacent. So he's not engaged. He's going to gain 2 random defense tokens. Punch and a grapple. And move to be within 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's only got to move down 1, 2, 3, 4. And he will shoot at Hanzo. Hanzo loses those 2. He picks up 2 damage. Okay. And then he's going to gain 1 random defense token within 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. There are no additionals within 3, so Juan is going to gain a punch token. Alright, so we've done good so far. We've cleared off a fair amount. We haven't gotten any new problems with the clones just yet. So we're going to figure this out. It's a little tricky with the green one. Doesn't have the Vandal, but these ones have stuff on it, so it's a little tricky. We're going to figure out where we're going with this. For each active objective, place 1 power on a card in the cloning area that has a copy of Vandal Serum attached to it. So right now, there's only 1, so we only have to put 1 power. Where are we going to put it? It has to be on the blue because it's the only one with an attached Vandal thing. And each fighter chooses 1 different enemy that is nearest an inactive objective and moves the enemy 3 spaces towards the nearest inactive objective. The only valid one is here. The only valid enemy is him. So each fighter, so 1, 2, 3. And does it say each fighter 1 different enemy? There is no different enemy. So he's only going to move the 1 time. Okay. Draw a card. Experimental serums. Attach this to a minion in play with the most damage. There are no minions in play. Then discard this card and draw a stage card. Accelerated mutation. Place 1 power on each enemy card in the cloning area that has a copy of Vandal Serum attached. Problems. Because what that's going to do is going to bring the marionette doll is going to go on someone. We'll put her on Clint for now. And she gets to punch tokens. I think she's the only enemy that gets defense based on the number of players. I'm a little surprised that there's not more that come in that way. This is going to dump out next to the space. Because she gets like dumped out of the tank and the tanks themselves are blocked. So she's going to dump out there. Okay. Ignacio, welcome to the fold, Ignacio. You are going to go here. And we'll see what happens with him. The most dangerous thing in our world right now is the number of clones that could be active. So we're going to have to make some decisions on that. When damage gets put on here. Okay. We flip these. I don't really have to move anywhere just yet. Ignacio is problematic. He gets a lot of defense tokens, so it would be kind of good just to get rid of them right now if I can. Ah, people are trying to talk to me. Is this work related? No, it's not work related. They are sending me funny memes, so you know that's cool. I hope your friends send you funny stuff. You know, the chats are kind of light. All right, let's see what we can do. I could hip toss or cheap shot. She got 2 grapples, so it's not really going to do a whole lot. If she has no grapple defense. If I hip toss her now, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hip toss her now. It's going to use the card step. And I will bump up the damage. So that 1 damage is actually going to land directly on her. She's going to hit for 4 dice. Hopefully it's 4 damage, and that'll just get rid of the marionette doll. It's for 3 damage, which is not enough to get rid of the marionette doll. But I do get a defense token, which is nice. I'm going to have Dolores attack. No. I need to do 1 damage as long as it's not a punch damage. So if I get Ilfa out of the way, that'll be good. So I'm going to use Ilfa. She'll jump and land here. Wrong one. She'll jump and land here. She's going to do 2 damage, but it needs to be not a punch. Let's see what her scratching ends up with. They're both punch damage. Of course they are. Okay. She's going to gain those 2, though. So, hey, there's that. And then I'm going to let Dolores attack Ignacio for 3. Okay. I got decisions to make here. I can either take out the marionette doll. I don't think I can fully take out Ignacio, so it's going to be 2 on marionette doll. Okay, So that's going to be 2. She's defeated. She is a minion, even though she's a clone. So I'm going to get a nail bomb. Anytime you may discard this to deal 2 general damage to each enemy. If I do that, it's still not going to be enough to get rid of Ignacio. So I should probably save it. Do I want to move away from here? If I stay on it, then he'll continue to try to get through these other ones. I just kind of want to keep him away from everybody until I can't anymore. So Ignacio is going to deal the farthest fighter within 5 spaces, which is Clint, 1 general damage for each defense token he has, which is none. He'll advance 3 towards the nearest fighter. The nearest fighter is currently Hanzo. Attack for 2. He has no defense tokens currently, so it'll just be for 2. Then, since he has no defense tokens, he's going to retreat 2. So he's going to go 1, 2. And gain 3 random defense tokens. He gets 2 kicks and a punch. Alright, so he got harder to kill. He's also going to activate that yellow if I don't get rid of him. So there's stuff to think about. Maybe I should have just gone ahead and hit him with the nail bomb, right? That's what you're thinking. That is a fair conclusion. Draw a card. Okay. If we use the binoculars, we can gain a defense token of each choice from each enemy. And that'll make it harder to... Okay. Let's just see what happens when we unexhaust and draw a card. Lucille, she's going to gain 2 punch and 2 grapple. Green Lucille will appear here. I will go ahead and use the binoculars. I'm going to gain a kick, grapple, and a punch token. Okay, so that's that. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the nail bomb to do 2 general damage. So that's 2 general damage. And Hanzo is going to give his to Wildfire. No. He's still going to give his to Wildfire, which is going to flip her card. Okay. I haven't used our cards yet. He'll attack Lucille. And it's going to be for 4. Hopefully none of them are a grapple. Okay, so he did 3 damage. And whoa! Ah! Okay. I need to fix the camera, apparently. Give me 1 second, folks. Well, that's more of a peek, I'm sure, than you wanted into my, the top of my head and my, gaming area, but let's just see where that gets us. Is that going to work? I don't know if that's going to work. Okay, well, all right. That's where we are. That's where we are. Anyway, I put, I think they're 10-pound weights, 2 of them onto the camera, and somehow it adjusted and decided to flop forward. So I don't remember what I was doing. I think what I was trying to do is get rid of some minions, and I can hit for 1 general damage on everyone within 2, which is enough to get rid of Lucille. So Lucille goes away, and it does 1 general damage to Ignacio. So Lucille's gone, and we get a soda, which allows us to draw a card. I think that she does the best when she has cards as options, so we'll use that soda to draw a card. And now we still have not used any of our regular actions. I think we have to use 1, 2, 3. We're too far away to get to the green one, but we can get rid of Ignacio and keep him from doing the yellow one. So I think our best move is to go ahead and use an attack card like Awanawa Dive and get ourselves close to Ignacio. We're going to hit for 3. As long as we hit for at least 2, we'll be okay. We do at least 2, but we need to see if we get 1 more. We are going to get 2 kick tokens at a minimum. So we're going to get 1 kick token. And enough damage to get rid of Ignacio. And we need to pull a loot card, which is a flare gun. Anytime you discard this, to discard 2 defense tokens from each enemy. So that's useful if we had more enemies about. We still have an action step to use. We could either use it to run to get close to the green in order to flip it, which we may have to do because it's going to get a Vandal card. We're in this weird limbo state right now where the cards have been defeated and other stuff has happened. So I don't know, man. We could get more defense tokens, which we don't. We have enough defense tokens to survive a bit of attacks. Yeah, let's go ahead and use the action step to move closer. 1, 2, 3. And we'll have her take the hit from Juan when he unloads. And that'll save Hanzo's life. And then she'll be able to deactivate the green. Right? Right. And nothing's in our threat area. We'll draw a card. So that part's good. On alert. Does not happen because it's about adjacency. He's not engaged. The Wise Wand gains 2 random defense tokens. It's going to be a punch and a grapple. He would then move, which he is not going to because he doesn't have to. And he'll unload 4 against... Let's say he's going to do 4 against Clint right now. And so that'll be 2. Let's say 2. Which is a grand total of 6 plus the 1 I dropped. So that's 7. He's going to flip. He's going to keep 2. And I'll pick up the 1 I dropped sometime in the future. And then, what's that going to leave us? Human Shields. Human Shields is 1 random defense token for each figure within 3. So within 3, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 figures. 1, 2, 3, 4 figures. So he's going to gain 4 figures worth. Actually, at any time, I'm going to make him get rid of Human Shields with the pepper spray. It says it could be at any time. So it'll have been before. Bye, Human Shields. On alert still around, though. Okay. Now would be a good time to hit Juan, send him on alert, and make him retreat, and then he'll just reload. He won't actually hit anybody. But everybody could jump him. I'll probably make him do it with Ilfa so that he'll run away in one direction and then everybody else can converge upon him. Yeah. Thoughts. For each active objective, which is currently still green, place 1 power on a card in the cloning area as a copy of VANDAL SERUM. There are none. Each fighter chooses 1 different enemy that is closest to an inactive objective and moves 3 towards the nearest inactive objective. The nearest inactive objective, 1, 2, how is this going to work? 3 is in this area. He still would have to go through the figures in order to do that. So he is there. He did not do anything, so nothing's going to flip. Good times, everybody. Good times. Clint or Wildfire, which do we think is going to be best for us? I think Wildfire. I think Clint. Let's see what happens with Clint. Because Clint doesn't need to move to do anything, and then if we did have to do some adjustments with Wildfire, we'll use that. So, alright. So all that's there. We're having a good time. We got to pick a Cartel card, another Lucille. So red Lucille is closest here. She gains 2 punch, 2 grapple. I can play a card. I think Steady Hand is a good one to have out in this situation because it's going to allow me to hit some just random stuff with it, which is good. I can do a lot of direct damage against somebody. Kind of in a, I can either straight up nuke this Lucille. I think maybe we'll start with Dolores, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of punches or a bunch of kicks against her. Yeah. So let's do an attack for 3. Let's see if we get rid of anything that's on. Well, hold on. If we flare gun, I can get rid of defense tokens. So let's just flare gun. Do a flare gun. And we'll get rid of punch defense and kick defense. Okay. To start. Then we're going to attack for 3. And it's going to do 1 grapple and 2 regular on the attack. I'm going to have Ilfa do a jump to the other side, and she's going to hit for 2, right? Yep. And if she blocks it, at least she gains it, so. Nope. Bye-bye, Lucille. Gain a loot token. Cash. So we can exhaust nearby enemies. That's cool. Alright, not that one. I wanted that one. Now, I think it is a great time to attack. Since there are so many defense tokens, I could either... He's got 5 defense tokens that would just do 1 damage. It's not really useful to use that, so I will instead roll for 3 using Steely Gaze to do 1 direct damage, and roll for 5 dice. So I get to choose 3. Take 2 punches and a kick. Are these in the wrong spots? These are all in the wrong spots. And then it's going to do 3 direct damage to Juan. Finally doing some stuff to him. I still got to do 32 more, but it's a start. Okay. I don't have anything in my threat area, so this just flips back to where it belongs. I get a card, so I get another Steely Gaze, which means I can feint it for a really big attack if I charge it up. So options are possible. We'll see where that takes me. And then it is now Wildfire's turn to unexhaust all over the place. Draw a card. On alert. So I think they stack. So it will trigger one, and then it'll trigger the other. So there would be like 2 different unloads. He retreats 3 spaces. So he could potentially unload twice. I think it's going to affect them twice. If I move anywhere near him, which I'm going to try not to do, but, you know, if I did that right now, I would be like, bye-bye Hanzo, right? So I don't want to do that just yet. What do I have in my hand? Card-wise, I can... I could do a general damage. Sure. Let's just do a general damage. We'll get rid of a token. Why not do that? Hanzo can supply a power to Clint to be able to do another big attack. I'll drop Ancestral Gift, which will allow me to choose a loot card and get an attack back out of my hand. This was a powerful attack, the dive, so I will keep a copy of that going. I get my loot card, which is a soda. Why not just use it and draw another card? Fair point. So I got another Ancestral Gift to be able to use. And I'll move Wildfire and flip this over so that there are currently no... actually, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. He could have moved. That's what it'll be. So the board's going to be all set up that way. Yep. Draw another card. Then we move to Mr. Juan. He is currently engaged, so he'll attack and retreat 2, gain 1 random defense token. So he's going to attack for 3. It's going to be 2 grapples, which is enough to flip Clint, and a punch, which is going to stay on there. Again, if you guys like my organization system, my token trays, my card trays, all that fun stuff, well, I thought I'd try to do a little, whatever. You see I have pale legs, big deal. Let's go to the next step. Carbine, activate, unload. So he's going to just flip back and do a reload. Nobody has moved anywhere, so those tactics don't come into play. Then for each active objective, there are currently no active objectives. And each fighter chooses 1 different enemy to move towards an inactive objective. Only 1 on the board, so he's going to move towards the red, which will flip the red and give it a Vandal Serum. Draw a card. Devoted Subjects. For each clone in play, not in the cloning area, there are no clones in play. Put 1 power on each clone with Serum. So red gets 1. All right. We need to make some moves. We are going to draw a card. There's a red Tyrone. Tyrones get 1 of each. Red Tyrone. And where will you land? Here. This is going to flip back this way. We are going to drop our stuff off. And Clint we're going to let Ilfa jump at this Tyrone. See if we can get her some defense tokens. So she takes these two. Okay. Then Dolores is going to attack that Tyrone for 3. He's going to take all of it. Okay. Then if I steady-handed him, it would just get rid of that one. So it's not really going to do me that much good. I am far better off trying to shoot as much as possible at the this can take up to 5, so that'll be a huge attack if I save it all up. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit. What am I going to do? I'm going to I don't want to get rid of that Steely Gaze. I'm going to put True Grit into play as my card action. I don't need to move to hit the boss. Do I care about getting hit by Tyrone? Not really at this point, right? I just don't want my other guys to get hit because they'll die. They have such low amounts of health that they'll die. So I can either get rid of that Tyrone so that nobody does any more damage. What do I think the future wants? The future does not want the yellow to get activated separately. But it's not going to be activated separately because I'm going to have to run towards this thing. This is the confusing stuff that goes through a gamer's mind, right? Let's toss some cash at him so I don't have to think about him for a minute. He's exhausted. Then I'm going to use Steely Gaze damage. It's going to do 1 against the boss. So we'll turn that in for a 5. It's going to add 2, so I get 5 dice. It's all going to be direct damage. Bullets are hard to block. 5 direct damage, so that means that he's at 10 down now. Alright. Steely Hand, I'll just hit for no good reason. Tyrone for... Oh, it's a direct damage. So if it's 1 direct damage, I'll just hit the boss. Never mind on Tyrone. Okay. All that will now react phase. Draw a card. Wildfire's turn. And she'll draw another Tyrone. This time in yellow. You want a close-up of the painted minis? All right, everybody, we're back on our... There we go, close-up of the painted minis. So, just throwing out something different. Okay, now we're gonna look at our cards, look at our stuff, see where the world is. I should try to get rid of that Tyrone. I I am not in range to do that just yet. I'm going to... Oh, I'm going to let Hanzo, because he's a good kind of fella, give me a power. And then he's going to get rid of this Tyrone here. So that guy's gone. Blue card comes... Oh, man. Totally screwed up all my angles now. Leather Whip for a grapple attack is awesome. And then I'm going to run at this Tyrone. 1, 2. Yeah, I'm run at that Tyrone. I will use a grapple attack, the Muzunsi Clutch, and I will use the whip. So now I have 4 grapple against Tyrone. So I got 3 with a crit. Okay, so a total of 4 damage. I gain that one from him. He's going to take 3. He's got 2 left. If I just use this, then it's basically going to waste it because it'll just take those 2 away. But that's the card. That's the move. I'll have to use my action now. If I fainted something, is this going to let me put something in play? I could feint this Ajajak to play an attack card and resolve its crane effect. I could draw a loot card. Let's look at these. I could gain a bunch of defense tokens. There's none going to be used in that one, though. Yeah. It will let me basically get a free attack. So I go ahead and where'd I put it? If I feint this here to do the Anawana dive, I'm going to be able to gain a loot card. It's going to attack for 3. So I hit for 2. I gain a kick. Resolve the crits. Okay, so only one actually gets through on that end. So that actually works to my advantage because I'm going to be able to play another card by functionally wasting that. But I did end up getting a lot of extra defense tokens in that bargain. Let's take our loot token and our loot card and see what we get. Survival rations to heal 2 damage and gain 1 defense of your choice. I don't have 2 damage on me to worry about, but that'll be cool. I'll attack for 3. So I get to roll again. Okay, so that is going to flip. I get another kick defense token. A lot of feet flying. It defeats Tyrone. Get another loot card. Butterfly. Ah. Now that's going to be handy. Because all the loot cards are handy. And then I get to play something that's a spirit card from here. I get to do that. And I'll exhaust both to heal one. Because why not? And I'm basically up to full strength from all the complicated stuff. And yeah. We're going to draw a card. So this is a nice spirit call. And I get to do all kinds of cool stuff with that. Maybe. It is the boss's turn. So he's not engaged. He gains 2 random defense tokens. Two kicks. He's within range. He will unload on Clint. So was Clint supposed to have flipped back over? I think I forgot to flip him, so now he just becomes flipped to there. Okay. I was just being preemptive. And then there's one active, so I have to place a power on one active. And then I have to move an enemy towards another inactive objective, which is here. So now the yellow has one on it, and Clint gets to do things now. So he'll draw. Oh, wait. Draw one of these. Generative task. Each clone in heal plays 3 damage and 2 random defense tokens. There are no clones. 1 power within each clone in the cloning area with an attached VANDAL SERUM gains 1 power and 2 random defense tokens. So 1 power is going to go onto here. The red, sorry, is going to go into his area. Okay. And then we'll draw a card. Blue Ignacio goes into play. Blue Ignacio's closest to here. And we're back trying to figure out what our strategy is. I think I need to get onto the red one. If I use the interact, it's going to actually force a defeat, but it's going to attack any enemy. So the marionette doll is going to attack Ignacio for 2. And then she is automatically defeated. And when you defeat, you get a loot, which is another pepper spray. The red card goes back into the clone chamber. And my action has been used up. My move has been used up. There are things that we're supposed to get added here. And a random goes on to True Grit. All the housekeeping gets done. If I use True Grit, it'll get rid of 1 from the boss to get gained. I can steady hand and hit somebody for 1. So that'll put 1 on Ignacio. Ilfa will jump and attack Ignacio for 2. Dolores could trigger the on alerts, but I mean, why not? Why not trigger the on alerts? And then Wildfire can maybe get closer. Right? If I do that, I can conserve the pepper spray for any more human shields. Let's just hit the boss with Dolores. Why not? Why not just get rid of some on alerts? Why not just see what happens? 1, 2, 3. So the adjacency is going to happen. And he's going to retreat 3 spaces from that fighter. So 1, 2, 3. He retreated as far as he can. And he's going to unload on her. So she'll take 2 damage. He'll reload, because that's the only thing that basically he could have done with those. These go away. I don't have to worry about them anymore. And I haven't played a card yet. If I were close enough, I could do something, but I really can't. I can't do much of anything right now. So I'm just gonna have to deal with life as is. And Ignacio will, farthest fighter within those spaces is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So within 5 spaces is Clint. He's going to, okay, so he'll advance 3, attack. Nearest fighter is Ilfa, so he's going to attack Ilfa for 2. Two punch, which she can defend. And retreat 2 spaces. 1, 2. And then he's going to gain 3 random defense tokens. To grapple. And a punch. Alright. Not too shabby on dealing with stuff. Gain a card. Then we will reset here. Okay. Double barrel. If no fighters are within 4 spaces, if there is one or more fighters in the 4 space, one unloads twice. So he's going to shoot at... Oh, you know what? Let's let him shoot at Clint twice. There is no line of sight in Street Masters. It's just within range. So Clint is going to get 2 power, and he'll absorb 6 damage. So he still has plenty to go, but you know, he got a chunk taken out of him. So, you know, that's unfortunate. Alright, so we're still on Wildfire's turn. I really want to get her somewhere closer to this yellow one here. So 1, 2, 3 would be her move step, and then 1, 2, 3 would be her action step. I still have cards. I'll do another Ancestral Gift and add Muzinisi Clutch to my hand to use the card step up. I gain a loot card. Brass Knuckles. Awesome. And then Hanzo, I think, should give power to Wildfire. 1, 2. I'm going to leave him there. And that's going to block that space. It's going to push things out a little further. That's all I can really do. There's nothing in the threat area. Gain a card. What else can I do? I can't. Even if I exhaust stuff, it's not going to do anything. Okay. I gain a card. We're back with Juan. He is not engaged with anyone, so he'll gain 2 random defense tokens. One is a punch and one is a kick. I clicked off the chat. Nobody's there, so it's fine. If you're there later, you know, hey, welcome to, you know, my room and all my stuff. And then we're going to get to deal with the carbine. Is just going to reload. Then we have to handle the stage rules. We have to place power on the yellow. And we have to move somebody towards an inactive. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That is satisfied. Draw a card. Each fighter within range of an objective space must discard 1 defense token or suffer 3 general damage. Within range of an objective space. Within 2 range. So that's everyone. Hanzo is dead because he can't defend. You've been good, Hanzo. Bye-bye, Hanzo. So that's gone. Clint doesn't have anything that he can discard either. Dolores doesn't have anything she can discard, but she doesn't die. She's just down 5. Ilfa can discard 1. Okay. So that's terrible. Those deadly security protocols that the kingdom has installed in this room are working against us in such awful ways. And who do I think is going to be most effective at handling this? Right now, let's go back to Clint. And fulfill those obligations. There's a punch one. Okay. I think I need to draw the seal card. So 2 punch, 2 grapple. The seal is going to come in here. She's too far away to deal with, and she's going to get close enough. She's almost going to get close enough to flip a token, so we'll figure out how we want to deal with that momentarily. I'm going to have Ilfa jump in the hope that we get a kick attack against Ignacio, so we can undo Ignacio. We of course do not, but she gets 2 defense tokens for that. Dolores will make a run at Ignacio, because she's guaranteed to break through his defense at that point. Yep. Defense obliterated. So we have 1 less Ignacio to deal with. Gain a loot. Alright, we got a lead pipe. I'm going to use the lead pipe on the boss. So he gets hit for 3. So he's got a total of 14 damage on him. So that's good. I'm going to now hit, drop 1 off here for 5 dice of direct damage against the boss. Okay, so it's going to do 5 plus 2 crits. We're going to gain a token. Let's just pick one here. And we got 1 more crit to deal with. And we gain another token. And that gives us 7 damage, direct damage. So he's at 21 right now. 21 damage out of 36. We're making progress. We'll flip now. We just get rid of a random token of whatever kind. Punch, because he's only got the one. That might help someone do some more damage to him. And yeah, there's no one within 3 spaces, so I don't really have much I can do with that. And I have not used a card, so he's got grapple defense, he's got kick defense. I don't really want to move. I can gain defense tokens from people or cheap shot. That's a punch attack, and that punch attack will go undefended, so that'll be for 2. I get another punch token, and he gets hit for 2. So 22 damage out of 36 health. Okay, sorry, 23 damage out of 26 or 36 health, so 13 left. We're getting to the bottom, so that part's cool, very cool. Now we're going to be at the seal, and each fighter engages this enemy. There's nobody there. Then, okay, so she's not really going to do anything. She's not going to move, but if someone was around her, she would give them defense and make them immune to direct damage. So you'd have to like plow through all that defense. She is a problem. She's not a nice one to have around. I'm sure she's got a lovely personality when she goes home to see her mother. Green Ignacio comes back into play. I think it's more important to get rid of the yellow Vandal than to worry about Ignacio just right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Get rid of the yellow one. So the Vandal Serum comes back off. That's a move. Use a card. If there's any cards I can do anything with, I could feint to play an attack card, but unless it allows me to move, attack cards aren't really worth too much. Do I have any tactics in my discard pile? Not really. So what am I going to do with my card step? I'm not going to do anything with the card step. I'm just going to enjoy that there are no active objectives currently and deal with the ramifications. How's that sound? Okay. All right. Ignacio would advance towards the nearest fighter. Okay. And then he's going to attack for 2. 2 grapples. Then retreat 2 spaces. 1, 2. Gain 3 defense tokens. And that's 2 kicks and a grapple. If I could get to a punch attack, I could use quite a solid amount of loots. Yeah, we're going to see how well we get after we draw a card. And we're back over at 1. He's going to attack for 3. and gain a random defense token and retreat 2. He should have retreated 2 before, right? That was a step we forgot to do. So, okay. Let's say he's there now. He'll gain 2 random defense tokens and start shooting at people. And it'll be a punch and a kick. And then he will unload, let's say, against Wildfire. And that leaves her with 2. He flips. And then for each active objective, of which there are none, I have to choose this guy to go here, and then they flip. So now there are 2 active objectives in play. And because they're active, the blue and the purple will get Vandal Serum. When we draw a card, Devoted Subjects. There are no clones in play. Place a power. So, luckily it's not enough to activate anything just yet. But we have to make decisions. I'm going to go ahead and bring Clint back. We need to do a random to figure out what's on True Grit. Okay. I'll flip. Draw a card, Purple Ignacio. And Purple Ignacio will go here. I think our best move is to attack the boss in any way possible if we could get through his defense. So the first thing I can do to get through his defense is use True Grit to get rid of 1 defense token. So that part's cool. Ilfa and Dolores will not be able to take off all of his defense, but they'll take off some of his defense. So let's run Dolores straight at the boss for 3. 1, 2, 3. She's going to do 2 damage. And 1 kick will be defended against. So that's a 25 now out of 36. If you're counting along. Staying on its phone. Side by side. And Ilfa will jump at him for 2. She's going to go here, so there's room for Clint. And she does 1. So now we're at 26. Wait. Nope. 1 of each. She gains them. Okay. Alright. Now we're all sorted out. 25 still. Not 26 like I said. Okay. If I shoot at him, it's just going to do general damage. It's not going to help me a whole lot just yet. But if I run at him and I can run at him and then do a get back and get launched back. So let's do that. Let's run at him using our move step. Then I'm going to steady hand it to get rid of a kick token. Okay. Follow along. Then the get back attack is going to get steely gazed. So that's going to add 2 plus 1, so there's going to be 1 direct damage no matter what. And it's going to be an attack for 4. He's only got the 1 left. Card step. I get 2 kick tokens. He takes 3 damage, or he gets hit for 3, which means he'll defend with 1, get hit for 2. In a super fancy move, I get to jump back 2, and then I get to shoot for another 2. And I gain 1. Or actually, I'll just take it from here. Do 1 damage and gain 1. And then it allows me to drop some firepower back on those. Okay. That's everything I think I can do with Clint. Lucille will give enemies within 4 spaces of her a random defense token. So she's going to give Green Ignacio a random defense token. And nearest engaged enemy. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. You know what? Was he engaged before? He was not engaged before. So this would have been different. Okay. She should have moved before. But it would have been toward an engaged enemy. Who's the engaged enemy? I don't think anyone was engaged at that time. Okay. Then she should also give the purple Ignacio a random defense token. But he's going to gain... He's going to advance 3 towards somebody. So he's going to advance here. And he's going to attack for 2. Then he'll gain 4 tokens and retreat. 1, 2. So his grand total is going to be 1, 1. Okay. 2, 1, 1. Grand total of stuff. Okay. Wildfire's turn. Draw a card. Getting kind of low. Another blue Tyrone. Here is the closest one. Tyrones get 1 of each.
how much damage can I do to the boss is the question I have in my mind right now. If I okay, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3 as my move step. Gone. I am going to, I have to do some type of punch attack. I need to be able to continue to control at least 2 spirit cards to make the most out of a punch attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust these 2, and it's going to allow me to do 1 general damage to everyone around me. So I can put these back now. And then I will use my card step to do a punch attack against the boss. It is for 3. Since it's a punch attack, I'll add the brass knuckles. So now we're at 5. And I'm adjacent, so the butterfly knife goes in, and that's 7. Okay, so I got 1 crit. I gain Alright, it's going to do, what's important right now is 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Okay, so there's 3 there. If we get 4, that's a 7. So there's that. Leave those 2. So that's 32 damage out of 36. I would normally gain 5 punch. So I'll take the 5 for the punch. And now I need to use my regular action for 3. Wait, hold on. To maximize this utility, I'm going to feint both of these guys, and it's going to allow me to play attack cards from my discard pile. So the one that I just did, I'll go, I want to use things that the first one, targeting 1 additional enemy for each spirit you control. So the first one will be this Amanaha dive from here. And do I want it to be the Thunderbird effect or the Crane effect? On this one, the Crane effect is the best option. So I get to play that attack. So I attack for 2. I'll pick that up later. So that's 2. Crane effect, gain a loot card. We are at 34. I get a turkey platter. Yum, yum. I got a ham down in the fridge. So, you know, it's a little bit like that. Easter and all. Then I will feint this other one. And I'll pick something with a Thunderbird effect that I like. Why was this you slash? Has gain 2 power. So I'll gain 2 power. I'll also do my attack. You know, maybe not. I will use the Muzunsi Clutch instead, because that means I will attack for 3. Boss is now dead. So we win. We beat him. Nothing else matters on the board.
Some stuff was forgotten. Some stuff was hard to keep track of. As you can see, there are a lot of cards going on right now. The addition of the complications of the clones. If you can play with somebody else to help you keep track of all of the rules and other stuff, then I would highly suggest you do that. Anchor your cameras down so they don't come squashing you down in the middle of everything and screwing up your framing. For the rest of the episode is another one. But we win. And let's look at the act card. Here it is. We're going to go ahead and move on to 4. We're adding Dolores to our story pool as an ally. So both Dolores and Ilfa will continue. We lost Hanzo, so bye-bye Hanzo. But now we have our 2 allies as part of our story pool. And we will just continue on and do whatever it is we have to do. I think the next one is Real Terror against the Davenport Manor. And that one has an added complication of you have these movie monsters for your objectives. And I think I'm going to use Monster Slaughter or whatever other game I've got to make that interesting, because I painted that a long time ago. And I've only gotten to play it like 2 or 3 times, so it'll at least get me some use out of that game. I'll feel good about it. That's what I've got. I hope you guys, if you have any more questions or anything like that, feel free to throw it in the comments. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. We've only got 2 left. When I put out the poll, everyone said that they wanted a campaign to see again, so this is the one I chose, because this is one I didn't write when I helped the Sadlers out putting this Aftershock story stuff together. I didn't do any of these, so it was a fun little exercise to be able to see what other people wrote, and maybe through process of elimination you'll find out the ones that I wrote, unless they want to be like, oh yeah, go ahead, say whatever you want. But unless they say it's cool, then I don't want to go into the ones that I did too heavily. I don't know. Everybody does their own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. You guys have a good one.